Here is why I bought this 2019 Audi A8L. Massage seats, 360 3D camera, soft closed doors, $6,000 B&O sound system, rear wheel steering, and so much more. And did I mention the price? I got this car for $50,000. When brand new, the MSRP was $109,000 as option. It's got 10,000 miles on it. And no, it is not some salvage title car. Clean title, one owner, certified pre-owned. Talk about depreciation. This is the fourth generation of the Audi A8, codenamed the D5, which could be slightly confusing because D5 and fourth gen, but for this generation, every A8 that came to America was long wheelbase, hence the A8L badge on the back. The powertrain in this one is the 3-liter turbocharged V6, making 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It is a 48-volt mild hybrid system, quattro all-wheel drive, 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, which is not fast. That's not the point of this car. There are higher output versions available. You can get the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 in the regular A8, and you can also obviously get the Audi S8, which has much more performance and power. Audi also changed up how they refer to their hierarchy. Instead of 2.0T, 3.0T, 4.0T, remember that? It's now like 55 TFSI, 60 TFSI. This one here is the base powertrain, 55 TFSI, the 3-liter turbo V6. In terms of exterior styling, the A8 is not super exciting. It's the elegant, more understated one. It obviously is big. Very big. This is 208.7 inches long. It's absolutely massive. I had to measure my garage to make sure it would fit before I bought this car. For frame of reference, the RS6, also a pretty big four-door wagon, is almost a foot shorter than this car. Obviously, the trucks and SUVs, like an Escalade or something like that, is going to be even bigger. But for a sedan, this is pretty massive. That's really the big defining trait of the car. It's just large. This one here is finished in black with the silver alu optics trim. I actually personally like that combination. I know a lot of times people want to just go black optics, black out all the trim, but on an executive luxury sedan like this, I like the classy silver touches around the grille, the badges, the windows surround. I have the windows already tinted out. I got a paint correction, paint protection film, ceramic coating all over the car, so it's ready for executive limo luxury service now. Other touches on the exterior, we have the upgraded headlights, the really cool OLED taillights that have a really cool sequence when you unlock and lock the car. It may not stand out as much as a Mercedes S-Class or a BMW 7 Series, although now the 7 Series stands out for the wrong reasons because it's just hideous, right? This, in certain ways, may just look like a gigantic A6 or an even more gigantic A4, but I'm okay with that. This is the understated, just big luxury A8, and I really like having this car. With that, let's hop inside, take her for a drive. I'll talk about the interior, which is where it gets really special. The really cool technology, the luxury features. We'll talk about what it's like to drive and the reasons I bought this car. Let's go for a nice and relaxing drive in the A8. Go ahead and turn on my massage seats. We'll go with circular, maximum intensity, perfect. I like describing these executive luxury sedans as you arrive at your destination more relaxed than you left, because they provide the utmost level of comfort, isolation, luxury, technology. Cars like this A8, the Mercedes S-Class, the BMW 7 Series, Lexus LS, you can throw in something like the Genesis G90, recently drove that and was very impressed. There's obviously going to be a tier above these cars. You have the Bentley, you have Rolls-Royce, you have the Maybach, but those are also a little more stratospherically expensive. These are relatively more reasonable. They're still very expensive. We're talking a 6-figure luxury sedan, but with depreciation, they can become much more reasonable. And this one here, this A8 has so much of the fantastic luxury and technology. Let's start off with the technology. So for this generation, we have the newest MMI system, which went to a dual touchscreen system. We have a 10.3-inch screen above, an 8.6-inch screen below. The top screen runs your main vehicle functions, your main infotainment. So that's everything from the wireless CarPlay that's running right now, but you can go home. That's your radio, your vehicle settings, navigation, changing lighting, everything here is the top screen here. And the bottom screen is mainly your comfort settings, the climate, your heated, cooled seats, all the convenience features in there. It's got a really cool usage of the vibrating touchscreen thing, so you can hear an actual little click when you go ahead and toggle it. For example, if I go up or down on my HVAC settings, or you can like scroll up and down here too. You feel it, give you some feedback. So they got rid of the buttons, which sometimes I complain about, but I've gotten to really like this MMI system. One complaint, though, is a lot of black, right? Not only the trim pieces there, but the screen, so it shows fingerprints like crazy. So I would bring like a little microfiber in the vehicle with me to clean it off. There was a lot of piano black trim here, so trying to keep it clean may be a little more difficult. We have our full 12.3-inch virtual cluster here. They call it virtual cockpit in the Audis, and I've become very familiar with that. Everything in the lineup has this now. Everything is all digital. It works just like my R8 had. The buttons on the steering wheel here control it. And then the materials. The Valcona leather, which I had to actually Google what in the world Valcona leather is, because I'm used to hearing about like Napa leather and semi-aniline. It gets really complicated. It has to do with how the leather is treated, I think, but the takeaway is it's very, very soft and very, very nice. This is actual very unique spec here. It's all the super dark brown leather. In certain lighting, it may just look like it's black, but it's a very, very dark brown, and it plays off nicely with the dark brown wood trim here, where you can actually feel some of the texture. And then the ambient lighting going all over the interior. We have the suede headliner. It's a lighter finish there too. This interior, I mean, it's so nice. We have massage seats up front. They're 22-way adjustable, heated, cooled massage seats. And the massage ones are very, very good. Sometimes you get massage seats are weak. They just kind of like inflate and deflate just a little bit. This one, you can actually set the different settings. You can feel the different forms of the massage going. Is it as good as an actual real-world massage? Obviously not. It's a car, right? But compared to some of the other executive luxury sedans or vehicles in this price point, I'd say it's up there. Definitely very, very competitive. And also, I am excited to have this in the winter too, because it has heated armrests. When I first got in the car and I turned on the heated seats, I was like, whoa, the inboard armrest and the ones on the door here actually warm up too. And then the steering wheel warms up. So like in the winter, I'm just gonna be in this cocoon of warmth. It's gonna be great. No complaints for that either. I could probably do an entire like 45-minute video just talking about the interior, because there's so much to cover. Driver assistance features are decent. I think when this car came out, Audi was facing some regulation challenges with the US government because we didn't get some of the more advanced autonomous driving, the traffic systems, things like that. So it does have the basic lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, obviously. Not comparable to, for example, GM Super Cruise or any of the more advanced driver assistance systems. It's just not equipped with it. It has the actual hardware sensors and things like that. There's a lot of sensors and cameras and stuff on this vehicle. But from what I remember reading when this car came out, there were some NHTSA challenges where they weren't able to come with everything. So it's got decent amount of that. But the other fun tech features, for example, the 360 camera when you're parking, not only do you get overhead view in like a billion different camera angles, but you can render like the 3D car. And is that useful? Actually, it's not that useful for parking. I think it's more just like a party piece show off. Like, look at what this car can do. Obviously, it just stitches together all the different camera views and renders a car in there. It's just a really cool piece of technology. And in all practicality, it's easier just to use like the 360 overhead view camera to park your car. But that kind of embodies what a vehicle like this is for. Like, it's just over-the-top things. Forget which luxury automaker, one of their like CEOs or founders or something was quoted saying like, luxury is giving customers things they did not realize they needed, and now they want them. And that's what this car is. Do I need a 208-inch long gigantic massage seat cocoon of luxury? No, but I'm very, very happy I have it because I love this car so much. It's so nice. It has the upgraded $6,000 B&O sound system, so the tweeters rise up. It's 1,920 watts, and it is so so nice. I am definitely partial for a very nice high-end sound system, and there have been a couple times when I just took this for a drive to relax after work, whether it was heading home for a regular commute or just like, I'm gonna take it for a nice little drive. It was when I was first getting to know the car, and I just sit here cruising in such silence and comfort, massage seats going, favorite songs playing through the sound system, and it was just such a nice touch. And it's so quiet and isolated. We have the double laminated glass here. The air suspension smooths out the road, and like, it's so quiet. Usually I'm playing music when I'm in the car, but obviously when I'm filming and you have to listen to me talk, I can't play music. But if I just stop for a moment, the outside world is like not there. I could probably do this whole review whispered. It's also fun with these cars if you're somewhere noisy. I remember at like auto shows, we used to play around and have somebody stand outside at S-Class or at A8 and close the door and just have them like shout at you. And you're inside, you're like, what? I can't hear you. The whole outside world is just shut away. Got stuck in traffic in the car. I was like, okay, it's fine. My massage seat's going. It's okay. It's very hard to have road rage in something like this, I think, because it's just, you have to be relaxed. You cannot be upset. Very different from driving the sports cars that I have, the Z06 and things like that. The back seat also has some pretty nice touches. They are still heated. I don't know if my back seats are cooled actually, but you can get the crazy executive rear seat thing with like the tablet fold down arm and everything. Obviously they get even fancier for people who are being chauffeured in these cars. This one is just reasonably optioned. Mainly it's the upfront tech. If I were to go in this car, I'm happy being driven up front or driving here. That being said, the back seat is still pretty roomy. I sat back there, I was working on my laptop just for fun, and I was like, holy crap, there is so much legroom back there. I could use this as a mobile office. I could live in this car. We have the dual pane panoramic roofs there. So we've got the front one open because that little camera suction up there. And then the back one also privacy shades and the side windows. And then the rear privacy shade we can put down with the screen here. There's a lot of moving parts. When you turn the car on, there's a whole like welcome symphony and dance. Little tweeters pop up, the air vents, the covers recede back. While it's cool, I would be lying if I wasn't concerned of the long-term longevity. Like, what if that little motor fails? Knowing this car and its price point and Audi, that could be a $3,000 part plus labor, right? So that stuff kind of concerns me when they go so over the top with all these features. But while it's under warranty, no worries, right? Just enjoy the car, and it's part of the entire experience. A couple other notes on what it's been like to drive this car. So the 48-volt mild hybrid system really helps with the stop-start. It can run some of the accessories, and it's supposed to smooth it out a little bit. You can still definitely feel when the engine is kicking on and off, and it's actually pretty aggressive with when it turns off the engine as you're like coasting down to a red light or something like that, and it can stay off for, I feel like, a little longer period of time than the older stop-start systems. I still don't love it, but I usually just deal with it in this car because it's still just so quiet and smooth. It's not a big deal. With something with a V8, maybe the S8, I'd probably be a little more annoyed to probably disable it more often. We do have different drive modes. I don't think I've actually used dynamic in this car at all because dynamic in an A8 just seems wrong. Steering seems to get a little heavier in the air. Oh yeah, definitely less body roll. Actually, way less body roll. Huh, I might configure that a bit more. A lot of body roll, right? But in comfort mode, that's kind of what you want because you want it to just float and float along. Rear wheel steering is a huge thing on this car. I mentioned, I've emphasized it to death. It is massive, right? Long wheelbase, so maneuverability would be a challenge, but it has rear wheel steering. So the rear wheels can turn up to 5 degrees out of phase with the front wheels at lower speeds when you're maneuvering in a parking lot, making a parking space or anything like that, which means this has a turning radius less than an Audi A4, and it's remarkable. I love rear wheel steering. And then at higher speeds, it can turn up to 2 degrees in phase with the front wheels for stability going through like big, long sweeping turns and things like that. Rear wheel steering is such a fantastic innovation, especially when you apply it to a bigger vehicle. It can make the wheelbase virtually shrink. Things like the Hummer EV, SUV, or super truck, right? The pickup truck. Rear wheel steering is one of my favorite parts of that, and I'm happy this car has it because it makes it much more manageable when you're just regularly living with it in the parking lot, flipping U-turns and so forth. It's obviously very quiet. You have to change your driving style. When I get out of the Z06 and into this car, I have to like recalibrate my head. Like, braking distances are going to be way longer. It's just not remotely close to the same level of performance. If I wanted more, I would have bought the S8. A lot of people are like, why don't you buy the S8? It's like, I don't really care for that right now. I've tried it. I had an RS7, and that was like a combination of the luxury and the performance, like trying to be best of both worlds, but then it's inherently compromised, right? I have this philosophy of where like you want your tools to be dedicated for their purpose. The Z06 provides the visceral, exotic, raw track focus experience. That car is just an adrenaline shot. You fire up that flat plane crank. There is no being subtle with that car. It is amazing. And then when I want to be just wafted in silence to work or to dinner, I want to be in this car. I don't need something that does a little bit of both. Those cars are great if you can only get one, but for an ultimate two-car solution, I want executive luxury sedan and my performance sports car, supercar, track car, whatever it has to be. So that's a big reason why I didn't try to go for the S8 or another RS7 or an RS6. I definitely thought about it. And also price, value. We got to talk about value. I already mentioned $50,000. This car was listed for like $53,000, which was actually very nicely priced. Looking at the market, they have depreciated hard, which is the thing for high-end luxury sedans. If you look at the lease pricing on a brand new A8 or an S-Class, the incentives they used to offer, it's because they know these things depreciate. A lot of times the owners, they buy one or they lease one, and then in 2 years' time, they want to swap for the new one. These are very accomplished businessmen, executives, whatever, right? So they've got the money, they want the latest and greatest. They don't really care about how much it costs. It's probably a write-off anyways. So they depreciate hard, plus that, couple that with the fact that usually they're pretty complicated and may have high ownership costs, maintenance costs. You're buying a car that had an MSRP of $100,000. It's not going to cost as much as to service a $50,000 A4 or A7 or whatever, right? So I think those factors come in together to make these depreciate so much. But I got this car for $50,000. Some of the other cars out there would have between 20 to 30 something thousand miles on them, and they were priced comparable to this one, between $50,000 to $55,000. There was one that was priced a lot lower, but it had like no option. It was like $86,000 original MSRP. It was like a base option car, and I was like, I will pay the extra $8,000 so I can have a fully loaded car. And this one had lower miles, 10,000 miles. So whoever bought this car drove it 10,000 miles, lost like $60,000 of depreciation, and yeah, it's great for me, right? Certified pre-owned, one owner, clean, no accidents, nothing. And I was like, yeah, I think I will take this car for $50,000 as my daily driver and winter car, and I am so pleased with it. Years ago, before I bought my Audi S4, I wanted an A8. It would have been a previous generation A8, but my friends were all like, what are you talking about? That's for like old retired people. You're not old enough. You should get something more sporty. I'm like, I guess you have a point. I should get like a sporty little sedan. So I bought the S4, which I loved. The B8.5 S4 was a great car, but I'd always had that itch to have a full-size executive luxury sedan because they're just so nice to drive. They're so comfortable. They're so quiet. And now, many years later, I've done it, right? And I think in a smart way because I avoided depreciation. I could have gone out and leased one of these for like $1,500 a month or something like that. There's no way this car is going to depreciate another 60 grand. It'd be negative money, right? It's not possible. Will it continue to depreciate? Absolutely. I would not be surprised if in another 3 to 5 years this car is worth $35,000 to $40,000, but the rate of depreciation is going to continue to shrink. Whereas the maintenance costs, service, and things like that, that's the dollar value that's going to have to start climbing, right? As long as you budget for it, still a cool way to do it. I am so pleased with this car. I haven't driven it a ton. I haven't had a chance to, just between travel and some of the other cars. But when I get to my garage, there are days where I'm like, should I take the Z06? I kind of want to just take the A8. Massage seats. It's so much more comfortable, right? This is still the new toy, so it's kind of cool walking out the garage and seeing it there. But I love this car. And for those who are going to still ask, well, why didn't you buy a Cadillac Blackwing? Because I did think about a CT5V Blackwing. Why didn't you buy the RS6 or an RS7 or an Audi S8? Price. Those cars are double the price. And if I was going to have $100-something thousand daily driver, I probably would have just kept my R8 because I was technically daily driving the R8. And yeah, I know that's totally different price points and ideas and things like that, but that's a big part of it. I was like, I want to go substantially cheaper. And at 50 grand, I was like, okay, because like there are Audi A7s and A5 Sportbacks or S5s and things like that for $50,000. Yeah, maybe they're a 2020 or 2021 model year, but if you look at original MSRP and what you get with this car, I think this is a fantastic buy. The other big question people will ask is, what about the 7 Series and the S-Class? And I did look at both of those too. The thing is, the 7 Series and S-Class of comparable kind of year and price point and mileage were the mid-cycle refresh of the previous generation. This came out all new A8, right? You had the C7 and C7.5. Is that what they, no, that, I'm thinking RS7s, A7s. But that era, they did the refresh before the S-Class and the 7 Series came out. Those would still be very, very nice, but honestly, it came down to, like, I had them saved. I had a couple 750i xDrive saved. I had a couple S450s, so the V6 S-Class, and a couple S560s saved, taking a look at them, but they were a bit more money. 60 grand, 70 grand for a nice one. I wanted not too many miles. I didn't want a 75,000 mile car. I wanted around 30,000 miles. And when this car was local to me at Audi Exchange, I saw it, I saw the options, I saw the pricing, I saw everything seemed clear. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take this for a test drive. And I just was like, I'll take it on the spot. So that's how it came about. There was no massive reason against the S-Class or the 7 Series. There is a little, like, I am an Audi guy, right? I've had a couple of them, and I have an affinity for the cars. I know the systems really well, and I feel more comfortable with them. Just, you know, you kind of develop that type of lean, right? Some people, they buy one Mercedes and buy 7 more AMGs. They buy one BMW and then go all into M cars, right? Porsche's the same way. Brand loyalty, right? I haven't bought a new Audi ever, but familiar with them. I like them a lot. So that definitely was also a factor there. So with that, we'll conclude this first review. Really wanted to cover why I bought this car, share some of the awesome features, the value. Honestly, like 50 grand for this thing, for 1 extra year of warranty. It's certified pre-owned, clean, 10,000 miles. It feels like brand new to me. And it is the utmost pinnacle of luxury at this, like, for this price point. I mean, it's so comfortable, so quiet, so smooth. Does it need more power? Everything needs more power. It's adequate. It's enough. And that's not the main reason I bought the car. I wanted a dedicated luxury cruiser. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That I posted a vlog of taking delivery of the car, my first impressions vlog, more informal, spending a couple days with the car. But there it is, my new to me 2019 A8L. More videos to come with this car for sure. Thanks for watching.